Fantastic. Such a beautiful shrine, such great devotees, all children of the Holy Mother. And this opportunity to speak a few words about the highest teachings of Vedanta, Astavakra. Let me begin with a prayer. This is from Shankaracharya's Pratasmarana Stotram, a hymn to be chanted and contemplated every morning. Om Pratasmarami hridi samspuradātma-tattvam Satchit sukham paramaham sagatim turiyam Yat swapna jagana sushuptamavaiti nityam Tad brahmanishkalamaham nacha bhuta sanghaha. In the morning, I meditate within my heart on the self-effulgent Atman, the existence, consciousness, bliss absolute, the goal of the great ascetics, the transcendent and the eternal, who is beyond the states of waking, dream and sleep. I am verily that indivisible Brahman, and not a combination of material elements that this body-mind complex is. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We have been studying the teachings of Astavakra. Astavakra and Janaka both are Brahmagyanis. And this is the conversation between them. Astavakra accuses, not accuses, but points out to Janaka, you are a king, you are an emperor. You are enjoying all this kingdom, royal treasury, wealth, queen, all the pleasures. And yet you are a Brahmagyani. How can you do these things? Janaka replies. Janaka says, a Brahmagyani can do anything at all, but he is not affected by anything. He has no kartritvam, agency for action. And he has no bhoktritvam, is not affected by the fruits of his action. He neither does, nor does he enjoy the fruits of his actions. He is above action, karma, karma phala. So a Brahmagana can do anything. So I am ruling the kingdom because it's my duty. But I am not affected by that one. So he says, a Brahmagani can do anything and he has no trace of fear of anything. Ordinary people we have so many fear. All kinds of fear. Ordinary people suffer from fear. Fear of old age, disease, death, of poverty, other kinds of problems in life. But a Brahmagyan is absolutely free from any trace of fear. And Janaka says, I have no fear. I am doing my duty. I am not attached to my actions. I am not attached to the kingdom or anything, property or wealth. As long as necessary, I will do my duty and am not affected by the fruits of my action. Total fearlessness. That is mentioned in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. There we read, Dvitiyadvai bhayam bhavati. Why does fear come? Everybody has fear of some kind or other. Why does fear? From where? What is the cause of fear? And that the Upanishad says, the moment a person perceives an object apart from oneself, self here means not the body mind, the Atman. The moment I deviate from my self-knowledge, pursue other people, my body, my sense organs, things, that moment I am vulnerable to fear. If I am absolutely by myself, Atman, nobody else, no world, no universe, no body, no mind, no sense, no objects, then where is the cause of fear? The moment I pursue the second object, Dvitiyam, then all kinds of fear I am vulnerable to, I am prone to fear. Dvitiyadvai bhayam bhavati. Therefore, a Brahmagyani, who is the self, who is Atman, is enjoying, he is experiencing his infinite, pure consciousness, nature, Sachidananda every moment. There is no second thing. Where is the cause of fear? So Janaka explains that one. For a Brahmagyani, knower of Brahman, there is no fear. Fear of loss, fear of sickness, disease, old age, or even death, or even rebirth. Death also does not bother a Brahmagyani. How does a Brahmagyani face death? We are all afraid of death and the suffering that comes before death. But Brahmagyani has no fear of suffering or of death. Why? Because to a knower of Brahman, the body, death of the body is just like changing the garment, giving up an old, worn-out garment. When a garment becomes old, unfit to be used, we throw it aside and put on a new garment. Death is like that. Death of the physical body is like that one. This body, which is like a garment to me, I am not the body, I am the Atman. Ordinary person thinks I am the body, whatever happens to body is happening to me. But not for a Brahmagyani. It's a garment, it comes and goes. If it becomes old, worn out, unfit to be used, I throw it aside and put on a new body, a new garment. This Janaka explains. Freedom from fear. That comes in the Taittiriya Upanishad also. There, the sage says, Varuna says to his son Bhrigu, the student Bhrigu, he approaches his father. That was the tradition those days. Father used to be the teacher. And Bhrigu asked his father, please teach me about Brahman. Adi Bhagavo Brahma iti. And then among other things, this is what his father Varuna says to his son Bhrigu. Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha anandam brahmano vidvan na bibheti kutaschaneti. No bibheti, no fear. For a person who knows Brahman, for such a person, there is no fear from any source, from whatever. Total fearlessness. That is what Janaka explains. And then, in the next segment of their conversation, in chapter 5 of Astavakra Samhita, Astavakra says, with several examples, Astavakra explains how a person can give up the body-mind consciousness, attachment to body-mind, sense organs and sense objects, and experience his divine nature as Brahman. How it can be done. So this we all know the traditional three steps of Advaita Vedanta, of Vedanta. Sravana Mananam Nididhyasanam. Hearing about the truth from a qualified teacher. Hearing has to be done after preparing oneself with the 4 disciplines, sadhana chatushtayam, that you are familiar with that one. First step, hearing. If the student is fully prepared, is established in Viveka Vairagya, that means in ability to discern the difference between real and unreal, and established in total detachment. I will not call renunciation, but detachment from everything. Ready. If such a student, fully prepared student, once hears the truth from the mouth of the teacher, fully qualified Brahmagyani teacher, that thou art Tattvamasi, that's enough. The field is fully prepared, and the moment truth is heard, it becomes the experience of the student experiences it right away. The teacher says, you are that Brahman, not the body-mind, Tattvamasi. Student replies, yes, aham Brahmasmi, yes, I am Brahman. No delay. That's for the ideal seeker and the ideal student. But for other people, it takes a long time. So we have to repeatedly meditate on the truth. The truth is only there is Brahman. Ekameva advitiyam, one alone reality, ultimate reality, formless, attributeless, pure consciousness. And that is what there is, and we are all that. We are not the body, mind, sense organ that we think we are. That is ignorance, sheer ignorance. So how to do this one? How to shift our awareness from this body, mind, and the world, other people, what's happening, who said what, who did what. From that, how can I experience my divine nature? That has to be done in the 3 steps. Hearing, after preparation, four-step preparation, sadhana chatushtayam. Then next step is mananam, sravanam, mananam, reflecting on what we hear. Simply reading or hearing once will not do. We have to repeatedly do the hearing, sravanam, repeatedly reflect on what we hear. Then, if you do the mananam properly, analyzing the truth, analyzing what we hear, thinking about deeply, considering it from all aspects, examining it from all aspects, relating it to our own experience, then what happens? Mananam gradually becomes deep meditation, nididhyasanam. Then what do we think? That's what Astavakra is going to explain in chapter 5 with 4 examples. 4 ways to do this reflection, this meditation. The first one, there are only 4 verses in chapter 5. Here Astavakra says, how to reflect, meditate on the Atman. He says, Nate sangostike napi kim shuddvastastyaktumichhati kim shuddhastyaktumichhasi sanghat vilayam kurvan evameva layam vraja. Layam vraja. That means dissolve the ego. Layam means dissolution. Undergo dissolution. Dissolution of what? The ego. And the mind and sense organs, all those things. Then what remains? Only the self. How to dissolve the ego? Layam. How to reject that as untruth and become established in the truth that I am the self. That he explains it in 4 different ways. First one is Sanghat Vilayam Kurvan. Sanghata means, from the study of the Gita, 13th chapter, you must be familiar with the term Sanghata. Sanghata means a collection of various things brought together, put together, held together. Something that is not one substance, but an agglomeration, collection of many different things brought together, put together, held together. Such a collection is called a Sanghata. Now, what's an example of Sanghata? Tell me something which is not such a collection in the world. Mention, think of one thing that is not a collection of many things. Everything. You take the automobile vehicle, how many parts? Thousands of parts it has. The parts are made in different parts, in different countries. Assembly line, they're all brought together, assembled together, and becomes an automobile. In the same way, think of this body. How many parts are there? Innumerable parts, so many different parts, bones and muscles and nerves and all those things. They're all brought together. They're all parts of nature, 5 elements, and somehow put together and held together. This is the collection. Now, what is the problem with being a collection? There is a principle in Sankhya. It says, anything that is a collection of more than one substance, Sanghata, is sure to disintegrate into its components in course of time. It will not stay as a collection. What happens to automobile? After driving a couple of 100,000 miles, then things fall apart, it goes to the junkyard, and the parts are separated, they are sold, reused. And see what happens to the body? As long as functioning reasonably well with all the parts held together, body, mind, sense organs, everything, normally functioning. When it stops functioning, what happens? All the components of which it is made disintegrate and go back into nature. Air merges with air, prana merges with cosmic energy, and all the material goes back into the earth. That's the fate of all objects in this world. Here it says, Sanghat Vilayam Kritva, rejecting anything that is a collection. Atman is the only thing that is not a collection. The only thing that is not a collection of many things, one pure substance, is the self, Atman. What is it? Pure consciousness. No parts, no change, infinite, eternal, pure consciousness. That's what we are, not the collection of body, mind. That's what the opening prayer said. Shankaracharya says this one, you are not the collection of body, mind, sense organs, you are the Atman, which is one pure substance. We'll come to that later. Now, Astavakras instruction is, meditate on this one. Think that I am not the collection, I am not a Sanghata. I mean not the body, mind, the self. I am pure consciousness, not made up of parts. So that does not fall apart into components. There is no components. One pure substance. I am the infinite, eternal, unchanging, no beginning, no end, no birth, no death. All these things, changes happen to the Sanghata. Anything that's a collection disintegrates, falls apart. It was not like that before. Things were all separate. At some point they come together, brought together, held together. That stays as a Sanghata, as a agglomerate, functions for some time, and then everything goes back, disintegrates into the components. Atman does not have any of these things. So that is what you are. So Sanghata Vilayam Kritva, first instruction, thinking that you are not the body mind, which is a collection of things which will fall apart sooner or later. Meditate that you are the Atman, one, pure consciousness, infinite, eternal, unchangeless, always present. Satyam Jnanamanantam Brahma. That is first instruction. Dissolution means becoming completely free from any trace of attachment to the body, sense object, any object. Other people, place, money, no attachment. They are not me. They are all Sanghata. They go away. They are there now. They go away, disintegrate and fall apart. Only Atman, I, remains eternal. No change, no birth, no death. I am that one. Like this we should think. Every day. All the time. Then what we think, visualize, becomes our experience. Swami Vivekananda said, what is today's imagination, visualization, will become tomorrow's experience. What we think, that we become. that we have seen before. In the first chapter, verse number 11, Astavakra had said, what do you think that you become? If you think you are free, you will become free. If you think you are bound, you become bound. Mukta vibhani mukto hi buddho buddhapi manyapi. That we studied before. What we think, that we become. What we are is what we have thought. This personality, whatever he is today, good or bad, healthy, unhealthy, educated or uneducated, whatever this is nothing but the collection of various things put together, impression by myself. So, what we visualize today, meditate upon today, that will become our experience in course of time. That's why Astavakra says, meditate that you are not the collection of material things, body, mind. You are the Atman, one without a second. There is no second entity. Ekameva advitiyam. Now, why this rejection of the Sangata? What is Sangata actually? Let's understand a little bit more about the nature of the body-mind, which is a collection of things. What are the things of which it is made of? This is familiar to us from the study of the Gita. In the Bhagavad Gita, 13th chapter, the Sankhya view is presented. There are two entities. Advaita Vedanta says only one, Brahman, nothing else. Ekameva advitiyam, no second. But according to this view, there are Purusha, Prakriti. Two are there. And his Prakriti is made up of components. He uses the word, Bhagavan uses the word Kshetra in 13th chapter. Kshetra means the field. This body is referred to as a field. Idam shariram kaunteya kshetramityabhidhiyate. O Arjuna, this body is called a kshetra. Why is it called a kshetra? For two reasons. One reason is ksharati iti kshetram, that which perishes in course of time, does not stay for a long time. It changes and perishes. Therefore, it is kshetra. This body is like that. All bodies, not only this body, the whole of nature, the sun, stars, the moon, whatever is there, galaxies, they all exist for some time, they change and they perish, disintegrate. That's the nature of all kshetra. Second reason why the body is called the kshetra is, kshetra means a field, a farmer who owns a field. What the farmer does in the field, the same thing we do in our body. What does a farmer do? He prepares the field, sows the seeds, and expects a crop to grow in course of time. We do same thing. We use this body-mind as a field. We do all the actions in the body-mind. Everything that we do happens in the body and mind, sense organs. And everything that we do produces a result that we know. Good, good, bad, bad, none escape the law. So, just like a farmer sows the seed and reaps the crop, we do our actions and reap the result of the crop. If we do good deeds, good result will come, we happy. If we do bad deeds, we suffer, unhappiness comes. That's why the body is called a kshetra. And this kshetra is not one thing. It's made up of many different things. According to this view, 13th chapter, 24 different things are made or put together to make this one body. In the Gospel, Sri Ramakrishna refers to them as the 24 cosmic principles. 24 different things are there in this one, not one thing. So many things, they fall apart. What are the 24 things? 24 cosmic principles. Easy way to remember. There is one couplet in the Gita, chapter 13, sloka 5. If you remember that, 24 cosmic principles are listed there. Easy to remember. What are the 24 things of which the body is mind? Mahabhutani, ahankaraha, buddhihi, avyaktamevacha, indriyani dasha, ekam cha, panchachendriya gocharaha. Add all these things, 24, you will get number. Mahabhutani, the 5 great elements, subtle elements. Ahankara, the ego, The main component of the mind is ego. Buddhi, intellect, the thinking part, reasoning part. Avyaktam, the unmanifest. And Indriyani Dasha, 10 sense organs. Ekam, the 11th sense organ is the mind. 11 sense organ. Panchachendriya Gocharaha, 5 sense objects. Things that we can see with our eyes, things we can hear from our sound, we can hear from our ears with our ears, and things we can touch with our hands, like that. If you add all these, you get 24. And this body, mind also is a complex of these 24 things. Anything that is a complex is sure to disintegrate into its components and disappear. Sanghata. So I am not that. I am the one eternal principle, not a complex of things, one. One substance, pure consciousness, no parts, no beginning, no end, and eternal, changeless, infinite, that I am. That's how we should disengage ourselves from the Sanghata. Sanghata means disengage yourself from this all things that are made up of many things, composite things. You are the Atman. That is first instruction that Astavakra gives, how to meditate on the Atman every day. I am not the body-mind complex. I am the Atman, which is one, without a second, not made up of parts. That is what Shankara is, the beginning of, I chanted this sloka, exactly same thing Shankara says in his very famous Pratasmarana Stotram. Prata means morning, Smarana means remembrance, recollection, Stotra means hymn. Every morning we have to sit down and remember what we are, who we are. Morning prayer. In Chicago Vedanta Society, Swami Bhashanji, this time, we all used to gather in the morning and chant this many hymns, of which this was the first one, Pratasmarana Stotram. It's a thrilling experience even to chant this one and think about the meaning. So what Shankara says, what Astavakra says, give up the notion that you are the composite of things. You are not. You are Brahman, one without a second. Exactly same thing Shankara says in this verse, which I chanted at the beginning. It says here, Pratasmarami hridisam spuradatmatattvam Satchit sukham paramaham sagatim turiyam Yatsvapna jagara sushuptamavaiti nityam Tad brahmanishkalamaham nacha bhuta sangha. The meaning is very interesting. It's easy. Prataha smarami. In the morning, first thing I remember. Smarana means remembrance. Who am I? Hridi, in my heart, I meditate. Hridi samsparad atma tattvam. Atma tattvam means the Atman principle that is pulsating in my heart. Hridi samsparad atma tattvam. In our heart it is there, every moment, all consciousness, I, like we are always aware of it. Always we are aware of the self, of the Atman. Satchit Sukham, Satchidananda. Paramahamsa Gatim. This is the goal of all seekers of self-knowledge, Paramahamsas. Turiyam, it is the fourth one, transcending the 3 states of awareness which you go through every day. Waking, dream, and dreamless deep sleep. It abides in all these 3 and is beyond these 3. Yad swapna jagara sushuptam avaite. Swapna jagara sushuptam. Dream, waking, and deep sleep. Avaiti. It abides in all these and stays at the substratum of all these things. Against the background of Turiya, the 3 states revolve. Sometimes waking, sometimes dreaming, sometimes sleeping. Just like the screen stays, one screen in the movie house, white screen, nothing is there on that one. But 3 different movies are projected every day. one at 3 o'clock, one at 6 o'clock, one late night movie. But screen remains unaffected. In movies, so many things happen, so many people come, so many people party, fighting, everything happens. But screen remains absolutely unaffected no matter what happens in the three movies. That Atman is like that. It abides in through all the three states of awareness which you go through. Whatever happens in three states, whatever happens in a waking state, good, bad, suffering, praise, blame, enjoyment, whatever happens in dream, and nothing happens in dreamless, deep sleep state, none of these things affects me. They're all like the movies happening, only shadow, light and sound. Nothing, nobody comes, nobody goes. It appears like that. It appears so many things are happening. The movie Jaws, that shark comes. People are afraid. But the screen remains unaffected. The screen is not frightened when the Jaws appears on the movie, when the shark appears on the movie. When fighting happens, the screen is not affected. I am that screen, not the movies. The whole waking state, whole world is like a movie. The things come and go. I am not that one. Yat swapta jagara sushaptamamaiti nityam, eternal. Tad brahma aham, nishkalam. Nishkalam means free from all taints. No guna, no rajas, no sattva, no tamas. No change. Free, immaculate. Tad brahma nishkalam aham, I am that one. Nachabhuta sangaha. I am not the collection of elements brought together, the body held together, comes and goes, changes every moment, body is changing. Old age, disease, death, birth. I am not touched by any, nothing happens to me. I am changeless, eternal self. That is what we should think first thing in the morning. Then we can go about the daily work. Pratasmarana stotram. That is what Astavakra says. In the first this is all the first instruction. 3 more instructions are there, like this one. Then let us go to a second instruction that Astavakra gives. How to regain our original nature, our self, how to experience ourself. The second instruction is Udeti bhavato vishvam varidheva budbudaha iti jnatvaikamatmanam evameva layam vraja. Budbuda means the foam in the sea, in the sea or ocean. The foam means small bubbles. And what happens? The foam, where do they come from? Where did the foam come from? From the water. What is the foam? Same as the water. How long does it stay? For a short time. What happens to it? All the foam disappear, all the bubbles break and go back into water. This whole world is like that one. All of us are like that one. Here it says, let me read the translation. The universe rises from you like bubbles rise from the ocean. Thus, knowing the Atman to be one, like the ocean, and not many, like the varied bubbles, dissolve the ego and become free. Second hint to meditate. I am the ocean, one, without a second. I am the water, everywhere present. The bubbles, whole world, universe, body, mind, everything, are like the bubbles. So there are 5 things to be noted here. First thing is, the bubbles, the foam is made of the same substance as the water. It's made up of water. It's not different. This Sri Ramakrishna explains it nicely. What we see as the universe of names and forms, good, bad, people, animals, plants, things, sun, star, moon. What is all this? Only pure consciousness, Brahman, appearing as this one. As foam is nothing but water appearing as foam, water itself. Everything is that Brahman alone. How do we understand this one? Sri Ramakrishna in the Gospel he says, a person goes to the roof of a building by climbing stairs one by one, staircase. As he climbs up, he leaves behind the stair on the floor and everything, reaches the top roof. Then That's here is the top. Then he comes down, same step by step down. Then he comes down and stands on the ground again. He realizes what this roof is made up of, same substance of which all the staircase and the floor are made up of. There is only one. Forms are different, names are different. This part is called the staircase, steps 1, 2, 3, 4, floor, and that part is called the roof, but only one. In the same way, a Vijnani who experiences the self, true nature of the self, he realizes that there is only one pure consciousness appearing cause all the diverse things, multifarious things in the universe. So that is one thing we have to think about. The ocean, the first one, the bubbles are made up of the same substance, water, of which the ocean is made. They are one and the same. Second point to think about. The bubbles arise from the ocean. Where do they come from? From the ocean. So this whole universe comes from that Brahman. Just like the bubbles, the foam comes from the ocean, in the same way, the whole cosmos, creation, comes from where? From that one source, Brahman, source of all. That's what in the Taittiriya Upanishad, Varuna says to his son. There he says, Yatova imani bhutani jayante. Imani bhutani, all these beings. Beings mean not only human beings, animals, plants, sun, star, nature, galaxies, everything. All these beings, from where they all come. Yatava imani bhutani jayante. Yena jatani jivanti. All of these they exist as supported, sustained by the power, Brahman, from which sustaining power. Everything is held together, sustained functions because of the God's power in them. That you know from the Gita. Everything happens. The sun shines because of God's power in it. The moon shines because of God's power in the moon. Fire burns because of God's power in the fire. Same thing Kena Upanishad says. Swami Atmagyan is teaching Kena Upanishad. The whole Upanishad starts with the question, by whom? Kena idam parishitam? Manaha. Impelled by whom? By whose power this whole universe is functioning? The power of Brahman. Only one thing is there. That is the second point to meditate about. Everything arises from the Brahman, whole universe. And third point, everything in the world, innumerable, infinite number of things are there. Every one thing is different from every other thing. There are no two things exactly alike in this universe. Infinite variety. As many things there are, so much variety is there. If you take any one tree, different from the next tree, no two trees are alike, different number of branches. And if you take two leaves on the same twig in a tree, they are not identical, the difference. Each leaf is different from the next leaf. In the same way, every single thing, infinite number of things in this universe, each of them is separate, different qualities, different appearance, different nature. But all of them are made of the same substance. They resolve into one. So much variety. But Brahman, one, no variety. No parts, no components, no variety. Pure consciousness, no quality. Nirguna. It's not white, it is not black, it is not big, it is not small. No quality. Attributeless, pure Brahman. That I am. I identify by mistake with these changing entities as the body-mind. I think I am the body-mind. That's ignorance. Shedding this ignorance, let me remember my true nature, which is always true. Even now I am that. I may not be aware of that one, but truth is always truth. Whether I am experiencing it or not, whether I believe it or not, whether I buy it or not, truth is always truth. It does not depend upon my belief or experience. Even now, the truth is that I am that Brahman. We should remember that one. That is second point. Then the third one is infinite number and variety. The fourth one is everything in this universe stays for a finite duration of time and disappears. You name one thing, there is always there, no? Some things stay for a long time. Big things like galaxy, they stay for trillions and trillions and trillions of years. And some things for a short time. People live for 80, 90, 100 years. And some small insects and birds live for only a few months. And some small things live for only a short time. But everything ends in time. Nothing that is everlasting, permanent. Everything stays for a short time. So the body and the mind. One day it's going to go away. I am not that one. I am that eternal, infinite Brahman. That thought we have to put into our minds. That's the fifth point is, what happens to the whole universe? What happens to my body, mind? They all go back to the source from where they came. That's what the Upanishad says. Yat prayanti abhisamvishanti. That from which everything came, that by which everything is sustained, that unto which everything goes back and merges at the end of their cycle of existence. We came from the earth, all the matter material, everything goes back and merges in the five elements. Same thing about the whole universe. Whole universe comes from Brahman, is sustained by the power of Brahman, goes back and merges into Brahman. Only Brahman remains unchanged, eternal. These things come and go. I am not these things, I am that Brahman. The 5 pointers given in one verse, in a second verse. Some bubbles are very small, some very big, others are in between. Some stay for only a few seconds, some stay longer. All of them burst and merge back into the ocean. All beings are like that. Some people are very strong and big and well-educated and intelligent and rich and everything. Some people are not. They are poor people, uneducated, sick people. All of them, regardless of what they are, who they are, come from the same source, stay for a finite duration of time, some stay for longer time, some shorter time. Everything goes back, merges into the source from where they came from. In the same way, the universe, like the bubbles, emanates from the self and consists of infinite things of infinite variety. Everything in the universe is constantly changing and transient. Everything is changing, nothing is permanent. Just as the bubbles merge back into the ocean and become one with the ocean, so the universe and everything in it merge back into the self. Only self remains unchanged, eternal. And you are that self, not the body-mind-sense complex, which is limited, ever-changing, comes and goes. So all this is nicely explained in one verse in the second chapter of the Gita. Easy to remember. Gita is familiar to us. The Upanishads we have to study more. There in the second chapter, sloka number 20, Bhagavan Sri Krishna explains all of this in just 2 lines about the Atman. Who am I? Not the body, mind. He says, Najayate mriyate va kadachit nayam bhutva bhavita va nabhuyaha ajo nitya shashrutoyam purano nahanyate hanyamane sharire. What am I? I am that self, infinite, eternal self, called Brahman in the Upanishad. You may call it by any name. The Upanishad is called Brahman or Atman. I am that one. What's its nature? Najayate. Does not take birth. Body takes birth. Moon, sun, star, moon, they all take birth. The universe, they say, came into existence 13 some billion years ago, they say, scientists say. And it will stay for another few billion years and it will go away. It won't be there. Everything has a beginning and an end. Najayate namriyate. Atman has no birth, no death. It will never be absent in the future. It was never absent in the past. Ajaha, no birth. Nityaha, eternal, always present. Shashvataha, permanent. Sharire hanyamane, atmana hanyate. When the body dies, Atman does not die. Atman remains. That is what you are. You are not the embodiment, comes and goes. See, this thought again and again, in many different ways, using many different examples, Astavakra hammers into us. It's meant for people like us, who are not Brahmagyanis, but who are aspiring to know our true nature. We want to know God. We want to know our true nature. These are Two more things are there, we'll study them next time. Then he gives the famous, in the next thing, he gives the famous example of the mistaking the rope for the snake. And all those things will come. We will stop here, and God willing, we shall continue next time when the opportunity comes. I shall say the closing prayer. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. May all be happy. May all be free from ill health and other problems. May all realize and practice what is noble, dharmic and auspicious. May no one be subject to any kind of suffering or misery. Om. Peace. May there be peace and joy in our hearts. Adhyatmika Shanti. May there be peace and harmony amongst all beings. Adi Bhautika Shanti. And may there be peace everywhere in nature. Adi Daivika Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Sarvam Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Thank you all, and have a great afternoon and a great week. Song? Oh, yeah. Closing song.